Alright guys, this is not going to surprise most of you. I think pretty much everybody's clued in by now that there's a lot of gender ideology and of course the LGBT agenda being pushed into the current upcoming Dragon Age game, Dragon Age the Veilguard. And now we are seeing even more proof that this game has gone exceedingly woke, especially given the fact that there are playtesters coming out saying, yeah, it's worse than you could possibly imagine. So, from that Park Place, we have an article saying, alleged Dragon Age the Veilguard playtester reveals how ultra-woke game really is, beginning with non-binary Kunari companion. Now, this is something that's been, concerning people for a while. People have been wondering about this character, given the fact that it looks extremely androgynous, and the fact that Kunari, typically in the past, have looked very definitively masculine. There's been no question when there's been male Kunari in the previous games that they were in fact male. So there's been a lot of concern around characters like this. So I'm just going to go ahead and play the video clip. This is from a YouTuber. I believe the pronunciation is Nuri. I apologize if I mispronounced that. And I will let her, speaking to this playtester, tell you in their own words what exactly you're in store for.
So you said that it's much worse than we think. What can you say about it? Why, for you, why is it so much worse?
The one thing that I was like baffled by it, the Kunari. When I was talking with her, first of all, you need to understand that this is fantasy game.
Yes.
Our words, it's different than their words.
Exactly.
For example, she told me that I am a non-binary person. How the hell that a fantasy game in like Thedas have the word non-binary
in there? Yeah, I've seen that. Like they gonna Athena. Like, what are you fucking doing? Why are you talking like this?
So this naturally has caused a lot of concern, given the fact that this game was already leaning into the identity politics and the gender ideology, and of course trying to appeal to the alphabet mafia out there. And now we are getting confirmation from playtesters that the game itself completely craps all over the story of the original games and does no service to people at all, given the fact that it is just ham-fisting, shoving in as much identity politics as possible. Now we have to fast forward to another game that just came out today, and I gotta tell you, this is doing far worse than I could possibly have imagined. So, we have all talked about Un9 Awakening, a game that if you don't spend much time on YouTube or Twitter, you probably have never heard of. But this is a game that allegedly is costing $300 to $400 million and has absolutely no hype surrounding it whatsoever. Stuttering Craig had previously said, my retail insider who has access to the 800 plus big box stores pre-order numbers tells me that Un9 Awakening had a total of 46 pre-orders, but 12 were canceled. So actually there were only 34. 34 pre-orders in over 800 stores, yikes. This seems impossible. This seems absolutely impossible until you start looking into this. IGN, who famously gives everything a 7 or an 8, especially if it's woke, they gave She-Hulk an 8 for God's sake, decided to do a review of this game, and I believe they gave it a 5, and at the very end pretty much wrapped it up as poorly as you possibly could, where it says, yes, it's mediocre despite a few interesting ideas. Un9 Awakening is a bland and janky adventure with a generic story and dull combat. Un9 Awakening is the kind of routine action-adventure game that probably wouldn't blow me away even if it was executed well, and the fact that it isn't just makes the whole thing fall completely flat. Everything from the formulaic story to the shallow and dull combat and stealth are well below the standards set by genre peers, and the consistently disheveled performance and bugs don't do Awakening any favors. There's at least some fun to be had in its interesting reality-bending powers, especially the mind-controlling abilities that let you briefly play as your foes and sabotage the enemy in clever ways. But these bright spots run their course quickly, leaving us with a wholly underwhelming adventure. It's not any better on Steam. Currently, there's only about 25 reviews, and they are sitting at mostly negative, and I want to point something out to you. A lot of these are very in-depth, a lot of these definitely give you a lot of good insight as to what's wrong with this game, but a majority of them say received product for free. The reason for that is I just realized, thanks to Manga Lawyer on Twitter, that a lot of people were receiving free copies of this game when they purchased their GPUs, same as the 4060, 4070 series, when they were giving away copies of Star Wars Outlaws. Again, pumping up those numbers to players who probably would never have any intention to buy the game in the first place. Savvy Artist says, if you want to make a game that has no faith in its player to figure anything out and gives you godlike powers that makes even hard mode feel like journalism mode, then check out Un9. And we'll get into that in a little bit here. Vera Dark pointing out the player base is plummeting for this game, saying Bandai Namco bought Reflector specifically for this game. Sony bought Firewalk specifically for Concord, and this is the best they could muster, and it gets even better. Archcast says Sweet Baby proves yet again that they really know how to sell a game to the exact same 100 people. And I mean, to be fair, I think he's got a really good point given the fact that it seems there's only about a market of 200 to 300 people tops who come out and show out for these woke, DEI-infested games. It peaked at 169 players earlier today at launch. We are sitting at not even midnight my time, with less than 100 players currently playing this game on Steam. Guys, this is an absolute disaster, and it gets better. The Gamer talking about, how long does the story take to finish? Un9 Awakening's story is made up of 13 different chapters, with all of the ones taking place outside of the Morningstar, the main hub, being around the same length. On normal difficulty, it took me around 10 to 11 hours to finish Un9's story. Guys, this is a $50 game. Black Myth Wukong is infinitely longer than this game. I'm only close to finishing chapter 3, and I probably put 10 to 12 hours into that game already. And it says, which I did without having too much trouble with its difficulty and without spending too much time hunting for collectibles. On my first playthrough, I had gathered just over 50% of the collectibles by the time I hit the credits, which I did without taking too much time to try and find everything. That number will likely increase if you play on harder difficulties, but it's worth noting that there's also a story difficulty that makes things much easier and lets you focus on the narrative, which will undoubtedly also have an effect on how long the game is. I imagine a story playthrough would take around 8 to 10 hours. Guys, this is a game for journalists. This is not a game for gamers. But it should be pointed out, as many people may have forgotten, but I can't imagine you have, that this game, which was supposed to have a transmedia universe, basically trying to build this game up to, let's say, franchise level for certain, Star Wars, sci-fi, fantasy genres, right? Trying to compare it to things that have stood the test of time. This game has no fan base, no marketability, but even worse, in the credits, they had David Bedard and Kim Belair, the CEO and co-founders of Sweet Baby Inc., listed in the credits. And of course, she is the story architect at Sweet Baby Inc. And again, if you have forgotten what Sweet Baby Inc. is all about, I'm going to redirect you guys here to Dread Roberts, who had this fantastic video a couple days ago talking about what Kim Belair's real mission is in the games industry.
Kim Belair. I have here a screenshot from a much older version of the Sweet Baby Inc. website that has to this day been revamped to hide not only their client list to show how many people they're working with in this industry, but they have also hidden their true intent. But I have it here because a while back I was able to find it, and I was able to find it through the same means once again. And it says right here, "Hi, I'm Kim Belair, and I'm a black woman working in games." Wow, that's terrific. I'm also the co-founder and CEO of Sweet Baby Inc., a black and queer-owned narrative development company working in indie and AAA spaces around the world. Well, what does being black and queer-owned have to do with narrative development in video games? Probably absolutely nothing. But right now, things feel scary, uncertain, infuriating, and heartbreaking in light of the government-sanctioned violence being perpetrated against black communities. It is important that we not only say something, but do something. And then she goes on to say this amazing thing here. It is challenging enough to navigate this world as a black person and to find solace, solidarity, and support. She's always going on about how black people need to be kept safe. And I'm always asking, safe from what? White people? This is equally true for black people working in and adjacent to the games industry, where opportunities are rarely afforded because of white people, help is rarely given by white people, and black and other marginalized voices are ignored by white people. And she's referring to more than just black people being oppressed by these evil whites, silenced or actively threatened. I don't even know why she put that in there, but it's
Go watch his video when you have some time. I'm going to link it down below. But this is why we are seeing this DEI apocalypse in gaming. There are so many of these games that are falling by the wayside, costing hundreds of millions of dollars. And unfortunately for the AAA games industry, this is going to continue to happen because we are now seeing reports of games such as Project Ethos coming out of nowhere. And this is a game, guys, that I just did a report on earlier today. You can see my article right here. I'm going to link it down below as well. A game that is a cross between Fortnite and games like The Cycle, you know, that extinct extraction shooter that was here for 1 minute, gone the next. And this is a game that is full of the diversity and inclusion push, especially coming from a studio based out of San Francisco, where they are trying to cram in as much inclusivity language as they possibly can, even going as far as to hiring writers based on their devotion to diversity, equity, and inclusion. So guys, let me know what you think about all this. We are seeing the collapse of the DEI cramming, you know, their agenda into the video game industry in real time. This DEI apocalypse is real. It is going to have massive, profound effects in the coming months, if not years. Let me know your thoughts down below. Make sure you check out the links down below in the description. If you guys need a PC, if you want to save some money on some games, check out Instant Gaming and Meta PCs, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Alright, and if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you for being here. I do have 2 channels, Minimal Effort Podcast, as well as my gaming channel. I do have a Twitch and Kick for my gaming channel. We do live streams over there occasionally, maybe once a week. And then if you are in the market for a new PC, make sure to check out Meta PCs. Click the link I have down below. Use code TBO at checkout for a special discount. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time.